Welcome to the With Clarity and Purpose podcast with your host, Yanet Borrego. Each week, I bring you an inspiring person or message to empower you to live life on your terms so you can be who you want to be, do what you are meant to do, and have the life you deserve to have. We will provide you with practical and cutting-edge approaches to continue getting clarity and direction on your path, mastering your mindset, and gaining confidence to tap into your inner wisdom so you can live on purpose. Hello, beautiful people. Today is episode number 5. And today we are going to talk about being comfortable with changing your mind, being comfortable with pivoting, with experimenting. And this is very important because, as I've mentioned before, life is not a straight line. Life is a journey of experimentation, a journey that you continuously learn as you are walking your path. And as you do that, it is important to know that it is okay to change your mind. I used to feel uncomfortable with that concept. I used to feel that because I said one thing or because I studied this for years, this is what I was supposed to do. Because one of my core values is integrity. It is like, do as you say. And I feel that was one of the things why made it harder on me to even understand that. I always aspired to be someone that if I tell my clients, wake up earlier and be more productive, that's one of the many techniques you can implement. I gotta be the first one to wake up earlier and be productive. And it's funny because my boyfriend, we have been together almost 2 years, he is very comfortable with changing his mind. So he has been one of the inspirations why I also say that it's okay. Now, this doesn't mean changing your mind every second consistently. It can be a pattern on the other way, not on the way I'm talking about. I'm talking about, for example, I've mentioned before that I studied chemical engineering for 5 years, a lot of internships in corporate. And I thought, there was a moment in my life that I thought because I had studied that and because that's what I knew, that's what I needed to do for the rest of my life. That's where I needed to retire from working as a chemical engineer. And with time and getting to know myself, I realized that that was not it. And it wasn't easy to tell people, I don't want to practice or do chemical engineering, right? Because it's a highly respected job and my ego was kind of hurt. It was kind of like breaking up with my previous identity. And as you know, that is not comfortable. I realized at the same time that it was really important to embrace who I wanted to become. And it was okay to change my mind. It was okay to say, I did it, I tried it, because one of the things that is really important is to try it and experiment with it. And if you try it and it didn't work, or you gain more information about yourself that it doesn't align with you, give yourself permission to walk away from that or even pivot in a direction that makes sense more it makes more sense with you and the person that you want to be and the person that you are. That was one of the pivotal moments that really allowed me to gain that understanding that it is okay as we gain more information that we make more decisions that align more with who we are as people. Going back to my story, my boyfriend changes his mind a lot of what he wants to eat. I always joke with him and say, thank God you haven't changed my mind about me, which is a good sign. So he changes his mind about like minor stuff. It is funny because as I was preparing for my podcast to record all these videos, one of the problems I was having in this room was with echo. Maybe I still have it, but less. And I purchased this decoration that absorbs sound, right? I wanted to purchase something that would help me because right now in this room, everything is just solid, like the walls, there is no carpet. So there is no way that the sound gets absorbed. So I purchased a carpet, it's here. And I purchased these that you see in the walls with color. This is actually to help with the echo. It was funny because I designed it myself on the internet, like this pattern. And when I put it up, I didn't like it. I spent like 1 hour trying to put all the pieces together. I actually have the example of the pattern here. So this is the pattern that I initially created. For those in the podcast, it was a very kind of like random asymmetrical pattern that I created with a couple of colors, with 4 different colors. And when I put it up, I'm like, ooh, no. And Cody agreed. Cody immediately agreed. He's like, ooh, that doesn't look great. And I was like, ooh, if it's not great, I don't know, I feel I need to change it. And I changed it, I'm not joking, like 4 different times until I got to one that I felt good about it, which is the one I have here. And I have, so piece of this, you're seeing the blue, that's what I'm talking about. So I divided it into 2. And it was okay to change my mind because I discovered something that I didn't like anymore. And I liked something more, a different pattern. Another example that I had with changing my mind, I just have it here. Okay, building my website. Oh my God, that was, by the way, I had never built a whole website in my life. That was a skill that I had to learn. And I did it because I wanted that mental challenge of learning something new. And it was really fun. When I started building my website, I started in Squarespace. And I was like, okay, cool, wow, there's a lot to learn. And I started learning all the skills, all the details. It's not super hard and it still requires some learning time. And I started actually building it. I think I had spent like maybe 3-4 hours building it. And I learned about a new platform that I became really interested in. This platform was called Kajabi. It's actually a centralized platform where you can have your website, you can host your podcast, you can send your newsletters. And to me, that sounded like the dream. Like everything in one place. I don't have to pay 20 different subscriptions, so I can have my newsletter, my website, my podcast. I can have everything in one place. And I was like, ooh, okay. I had spent 4 or 5 hours in Squarespace, and I was like, scratch that, done. I'm gonna transfer to Kajabi. So I started again. I did it on Kajabi. I finished it. I spent a couple of days building it, and I felt right about my decision. And sometimes I realize that whenever you're taking a decision, you're not sure, you may get stuck in analysis paralysis. You may get stuck, like, this happens to me too. I'm definitely not immune to this. You may get stuck in like, do I want this color? Do I want this pattern? Do I want this platform? Because right now, there are so many options that is so overwhelming. You gotta give yourself some time to break that pattern, take an action, a decision, go with it. And if that was not the right one, hey, at least you learn from it. But taking action is just really important. With this pattern, I think I spent like 3 days asking Cody, because one thing about me that you may not know, I don't like decoration. I don't like picking colors, which is really funny because I spent 2 years in consulting doing a lot of PowerPoints and they needed to look pretty and visually appealing. I'm gonna admit that was my least favorite part of building those PowerPoints. I'm more like content driven and writing, and I do have fun at the same time. And I appreciate people's help because I'm not the best. I feel I'm not maybe a limiting pattern, a limiting belief for me, who knows. And I spent like 3 4 days trying to decide on the pattern, asking Cody what he thought. And after the third or fourth day, at the end of that day, I remember at 9 p.m., like still analysis paralysis. And I was like, that is it. I did one, which is the one that I showed earlier, and I just went with it. I'm like, okay, I'm done just trying to decide and I'm not moving forward. So I'm gonna take the action and I'm gonna deal with whatever I get and I'm gonna make it work. And that's what I did. It's important to let go of the idea that things are gonna be right or perfect the first time. That's not how life is designed. Life is about learning about yourself and discovering who you are, and based on that, being courageous and bold to take decisions based on the information you have gotten. That's the example that I gave with this. That's the example that I gave with the website. That's the example I gave with chemical engineering. My boyfriend changing what he wants to eat. He's very flexible though. If I say something, he'll definitely, like try to accommodate my needs. Be comfortable with pivoting and be comfortable with experimenting, because it is only through experimentation and taking action that you'll actually gain clarity and you'll gain more confidence and you'll be more congruent with the direction that you want to take, that you want to walk towards. I think it's really important to understand that. So, a couple of tips that I'll give you from today's episode. The first one is give yourself some limited time. When you recognize that you're in analysis paralysis, give yourself some time and tell yourself, like I did, hey, in the next 3 days, if I don't arrive to a decision, take one and move forward. That is feedback for you, because we may have some limiting beliefs sometimes around wanting things to be perfect the first time. So just let that go, give yourself some limited time, take the decision, move forward. Second tip, from that decision and that action, learn from it if there was something to learn from it, and apply that learning moving forward. I love John Maxwell. He's like a leadership speaker. He has this book called Failing Forward. And I just told my boyfriend yesterday, that's something that I gotta remind myself more of. Failing forward. Because failing forward, if you're gonna fail, why not fail now? And fail is feedback, right? We say in NLP there is no failure, only feedback. But try it out, try things out, experiment. And the last tip that I'm gonna give is be consistent with that experimentation and know that there are a lot of times that things are not gonna turn out perfectly how you expected. Do not give up. Do not try one time, it didn't turn out like you expected, and then you're like, I'm done. This meant that it's not gonna happen. No, it's gonna happen. You just do not give up. Just keep moving forward. I hope this was super helpful. As always, I'll be ending the episode with a question, a reflection question for all of you. And the question today is, where are you not allowing yourself to experiment? Or where are you in analysis paralysis? Where is maybe a decision or an area of your life where you're still analyzing what to do and you haven't taken a decision yet? I'm gonna task you, give yourself a time frame, and by certain time, 1 day, 2 day, 3 days, you decided, take that decision, move forward, get some learnings, and continue experimenting. Again, you're not alone. We are all going through this journey. And the sooner you start, the sooner you also start aligning with your potential and your direction. And you can even be more empowered to fulfill your passion and your dreams. I'm with you. I'll see you in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this one. Have a great day. Bye bye. Thank you so much for listening at With Clarity and Purpose. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Sharing is caring. Please share with your friends and family so we can continue building an empowered community together. I'll see you next week.